Hi, I'm Clyde Sharati, and thank you for tuning in. We published a story reacting to Channel 9's current affairs show story on Apex Gang. They called it Inside Apex. We called it Inside Apex Fabricated Story. We're very pleased because there has been a significant amount of interest in the community reacting to that story. We've reached over 120,000 people with that posting on Facebook, and the video views are just now reaching about 45,000. This is really encouraging for us. It shows that there is significant amount of interest in our communities in relation to this unfair, negative reporting of our communities by mainstream media, especially commercial channels. So we are going to be keeping an eye on all these channels, and every time there's a story relating to ethnic communities and African communities in particular, we will be putting up our own story together to analyze how that reporting was done. So, we will ask you to continue to contact us every time you see any story in the media, whether that is television, print, or online media anywhere in Australia. We will be having a media watch of our own, and we'll be dissecting stories that are published to have a look at how that was done and point out to the lazy and disgraceful journalism that is often the case when commercial channels talk about ethnic medias, especially in relation to crime and violence. Now, we have another story today. This time it is an African person from a Ghanaian background who has been a victim of a knife attack. He was stabbed by allegedly 3 Caucasian females in Sunshine North in Melbourne. I'm going to give you an opportunity to watch the story.
A young man is in hospital tonight after being viciously stabbed in an ambush by a woman he met online. She and 2 of her friends attacked him in his car, leaving him bleeding heavily and begging for help.
Attacked and left for dead on a Sunshine North footpath. A man frantically stabbed by a gang of 3 women.
I heard a man shouting and a woman. I heard the man say, "Get out," and I heard a door slam and another door slam.
26-year-old Augustine moved from Ghana to Australia only months ago. He matched with a woman on the dating app Tinder, then met her and her friends in Richmond last night before they asked for a lift to Sunshine. But as he drove them down Heron Avenue, things turned violent, the trio demanding the keys to his Volkswagen before slashing him with a knife. He tried to run but darted back for his keys as his attackers fled in the opposite direction. Caroline Tuvanuvo convinced her sister to pull over after spotting Augustine bleeding on McIntyre Road.
I said, look, there's so many cars out here, nobody's stopping for this person. What if this person's going to die? We should just stop and just see if he's okay.
The victim had been knocking on doors for help, to no avail.
There was just blood everywhere. His hands were just on his chest. And I said to him, look, it's okay, help is coming, just wait here, I'll stay with you.
The 26-year-old suffered lacerations to his head, neck and stomach in the brutal attack. He was brought here to the Royal Melbourne Hospital and underwent surgery. Doctors say it's unlikely he'll be discharged before his birthday on Sunday as police hunt the Caucasian women responsible for the attack. Jodie Lee, 7 News.
Well, that's the story from Channel 7. What do you think about it? Let's have a look at a few things with this story. Just imagine if this crime was committed by African females. They would say, well, Apex is all over town terrorizing people, and it's not just male, it's also female. I'm sure that's what they would say. Now, when they put this story together, they are not talking about where these people who allegedly committed this terrible crime were born. If it was African, they would say Sudanese born or Somali born or Congolese born or whatever. They're also not saying that these women are somehow having issues of integrating. That's what they would have said if it, if this was done by African or ethnic groups. It's just, it's terrible the way this media report on our communities. And I haven't yet seen, many of these right-wing commentators, Andrew Bolt or all these other Herald Sun reporters say anything about this. And, they discriminate in the way they report stories in the media, and they want to make it, a very big deal when it's ethnic communities committing violence or crime. But when it's about white, Caucasian people doing so, they don't make a whole lot of story about it. They wouldn't say, this crime happened or this, but it's just different. The tone of the reporting is different. I'm sure if this crime was perpetrated by members of the African community, what would have seen that in that reporting, they would show the images of Apex. Because what they're doing now is linking any crime allegedly committed by people of black race with Apex. They would show the image of the so-called Apex gang breaking stores and hijacking cars and all that sort of thing. So we would want these commercial channels, when they report about crime, to simply tell people what happened, not go into anything else such as, these people were born, overseas, and then they're having issues integrating, and then they're creating fear, and then in the end, it's the media that is creating fear in the minds of the people. We all want to live in a society where there is, minimal amount of crime, because all of us can fall victim. Just because I'm black, it doesn't mean I may not be fall victim of crime perpetrated by another black. So I'm not going to defend crime activity just because it was done by a black person. No, we all have to do something about minimizing criminal activities in our communities across the board. But we all also must ensure that the media is not unnecessarily vilifying, demonizing communities when crime happens. Now, another point here is, you remember the Burke Street massacre, when this person, mentally disturbed apparently, from a Greek background, went around and started killing people with his car. When that story was happening, no media, I've watched that very closely, no media was really talking about the Greek origin of this person. They were just talking about, an Australian person, having committed this hideous crime and killing people. They were not talking about the fact that he was from a Greek background. You know why? Because the Greek, they are now considered as mainstream Australia, and they are quite powerful. So you're not going to go there and start saying this Greek born, or even if he was not born in Greece, but he was born in Australia but has a Greek background. You're not going to be doing that when reporting crime, because these Greeks will be all over you. So as I said earlier, we are now going to be talking about media reporting of African communities and ethnic communities on a regular basis. At least once a week, we're going to be looking at a story that has been published anywhere in Australia that relates to ethnic communities. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to ask you to comment, please, so we know what you're thinking. Share the video. And, the power of sharing is really important, because it is going to make sure that people are not only informed, but they're also empowered. We need to have a serious discussion in our communities. And I'm going to be also trying to initiate some sort of conversation with African community leaders, because this media reporting issue, the negative reporting of African communities, is obviously a very important issue. It affects the life of so many people who are innocent, who have nothing to do with crime. A small minority does this crime, the media amplifies the whole thing, and before you know it, the whole community is being tainted. And not just now, even our future generation, our children. When Australians view this media reporting of crime that is being perpetrated allegedly by Africans, or Apex, whatever they call it, they don't make a difference between someone from South Sudan or Angola or Congo or Liberia or whatever country it is. All of us as Africans, we are concerned, and the children who are being born here are going to be affected by that, because it plays into the psychology of people and in the society. So even those who are actually doing well, they'll have trouble getting jobs, because potentially some of these people making decisions about giving jobs to people, employers, will be psychologically affected by these images that they consume over and over. And, you know, there is some level, some degree of that negativity that is definitely going to affect people. So it is important that action is taken. Thank you very much.